Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's good to be back. We took a 2-year hiatus just because life and stuff happens. But we're back and we're ready for some Overdress excitement. Today I have a deck profile on Zorga, which is one of my favorite decks because it's very Grand Blue-esque. It's all based around this guy here. His name is Zorga. He's got 2 skills. The first one is when you play an Alchemagic card, which is kind of like a trainer card in Pokemon, or a I don't know what it's called in Magic. Anyway, you play one of those cards, and then you get to combine it with another Alchemagic card in your discard pile. So you bind the one in the discard pile, you play the one from hand. The one from hand goes first in terms of skill order, so be careful on which skill you want to go first. And then you get both skills at the same time. So you pay the cost for all of those skills. You get both of them. Super useful because you can typically only play one order at a time, but he allows you to basically combine 2 or play 2 at the same time. Second skill is act once per turn. You can counterblast 1, call a dude from the discard pile. It's good in a pinch. I don't find myself using it all the time, but it's basically there to kind of push numbers to build a board. Sometimes you use it, but the counterblast you tend to use for other things because they tend to give you power at the same time. Going to the grade 2, the Husk Dragon, his skill is when he's placed on Vanguard, you get to put an Alchemagic card back into your hand. And then continuous on the rear guard, if you played an Alchemagic card, he gets 5k. So beat stick, good to use to attack, not much else. He pluses because you're going to pitch a card to ride from the right deck anyway, so why not get that card back? And then the grade 1 kind of goes along with the grade 2. His skill says act when he's on Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, draw 2 cards and then discard an Alchemagic card. If it's not an Alchemagic card, you got to pitch 2 cards. So you kind of get the theme where you're mulliganing for at least 1 Alchemagic card, and then you basically pitch it with him, and then bring it back with him. So yeah, you're just kind of plussing around. Make sure, if you're playing against a smart opponent, that you're not pitching different Alchemagic cards, right? You don't want to show your hand, so like the same card that you pitch with this is the same card you want to pick up with this, and then generally I'll pitch that same card to ride up to Zorga, so they'll only see that one order card. You don't want to give it too much information. On to our order cards. Sorry, I don't know the names. I just know what they do. But this skill says you counterblast 1 and you get 3 units, 10k. Super useful again for pushing damage. Make sure that you have stuff on the board before you play it. It feels really bad when you only get to do it on 2 units. Also keep in mind you can do it on Vanguard, so it's kind of like a front trigger. This basically combined with condensation, I don't know the name, again, sorry about that. But this card here is Soul Blast 1, call a unit from the discard pile and then give it 5k. So this is your bread and butter, right? You play this from hand, you have this in the discard pile, you call 1 card, give it 5k, and then this dude gives another 10k. So that's basically most of your turns, right? And then you'll find yourself flip-flopping between the 2. So then this gets bound, and then this will be in the discard pile, and then you play another one from hand, and then you do this and then this. And so yeah, it's really good to push for turns along with your break ride, persona ride. Getting plus 10k to the front row is really how you win most games. And then to kind of filter your deck a little bit more, or if people wipe your board, you have this card here. I don't know the name of the card, but its skill is you Soul Blast 2, look at the top 4 cards, pick 2 if it's Alchemagic, call it to the board and give it 5k. So plus into the board. Sometimes you run out of soul, so kind of have to manage with Hendrina, which I'll show in just a bit. But you end up using this maybe once or twice a game, if that. Which is why I only run it at 2. And the last is more of a defensive blitz order, Ghost Chase. I only ran it at 3. I used to run it at 4 because I love the card so much, but I realized not having shield values with all these orders in hand really hurts your ability to guard, especially against like Bastion and things like that, or even multi-attacks, because you only have so many cards in hand. This deck doesn't super plus a lot from hand, since it calls from the discard pile. Anyway, Ghost Chase's skill says you choose another one of your rear guards that's not being targeted, right? So if someone's swinging at it, you can't Ghost Chase that card back. But you put it back to your hand, and then give give one of your units 5k. Seems pretty simple. Most useful cases is like picking up a PG that you called off of this, picking up a over trigger that you called off of this. Against Barrel Magnus, like I'll just continue to call the PGs with like the Zorga skill, and then I'll pick it up with Ghost Chase, and so I'll always have PGs for its crit swing. So it's super useful in those matchups. Against others, not so much. So again, 3 is a good number. I wouldn't play 4. I wouldn't play any less because, like I said, it does get you out of a pinch. It also lets you reuse a lot of like the on-play skills like Mantis and Hendrina. I play 3 of her. I think you could go to 4 if you found space. Also keep in mind, like I only play 2 of the Hush Dragons just because like I don't have a lot of space because I play so many orders. For Hush Dragon, like there's so many Soul Blast skills in terms of Alchemagic that you also tend to get them out, and then you only really have space for 1. If you like double Hush Dragon, like you're doing something wrong. Like you're not utilizing your front row skills enough. There's better things to do than just to give an extra 5k. Anyway, going back to Hendrina, her skill says when she's placed on the board, you can mill 3 cards. So again, like speeding up the deck, getting the orders in the discard pile, getting the units in the discard pile. And then her second skill is you can retire her and then basically make your Alchemagic free in terms of Soul Blast. So it's really good if you're using this card here and this card here together, like super free. Just be careful, like not to overthink it. Like if you sack her and then just play this, like is it really worth? Probably not. So just be careful for your resources. And then the other grade 2 that I play is Elenia. Her skill says on place you get to Soul Blast, Counter Blast 1, call a dude grade 2 or less, and then give it 5k. Generally when you mulligan, like I'll mulligan for 1 order and then like hopefully one of the 2, just because she's really good again to start the cycle. She's really good for rushing, again to Soul Blast if you want to Soul Blast the Hush Dragon, and then just kind of get the ball rolling, because I noticed that this deck has a hard time pushing at the end. So like the more damage you can get kind of early on, the better it becomes, right? If you ever played back in Vanguard, like, or Vanguard G, like with Night Rose, you could just like dump the units on the board and just swing with it, because who cares if they die, like you're just gonna call them back anyway. So you're not really like negging to your hand. There really isn't much else to play. So I play 4 Mantis. Mantis says on place give a unit 5k. So on second turn if you go, you can like do her skill, place her, call the Mantis, give him 5k, and then his skill give another unit 5k. Like you build pretty good columns early on. People just tend to no guard, so you can kind of push him to like 2 or 3 before you even get to grade 3. He's also a good unit to choose off of Ghost Chase, because again it's free, right? You just play it down and you start the process over again. He'll probably get cut for other stuff later on, because it's just kind of a meh skill. Like if you saw this in G, like you would laugh at it and just kind of throw it in the garbage. And then I also play the 4 PGs, super self-explanatory. He's also super cool looking. Again, use Ghost Chase to pick him back up. So like it feels bad to call him, but at the same time, like you have abilities to put it back in your hand, so it's not as bad as you think. Yeah, and then 3 Zorgas. Obviously you want to run max copies, just because you need to Persona Ride. Triggers, 1 over trigger, 3 front triggers. Front triggers, I tried playing with draws. Draws aren't as good because you don't have as much shield value. And then again, like you're normally like front loading, no pun intended, your units. You're using the Zorga skill, your Persona Riding, you're doing the order to give 10k, so it's like, well, why not give another 10k? If I could run 12 crits, I would. So yeah, spoiler alert, 8 crits, just because that's all there's out there. Again, you need to push towards the end of the game. It's hard. You get the ball rolling really well. You get a good mid game, and then like you kind of have to like rely on crits or people just not having enough value towards the end of the game. And so crits help you close out games. And then 4 heals. Alright guys, thanks for watching my Zorga deck profile. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. We try to answer as many as we possibly can, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace!